Good evening, people. Welcome back to Mature Racing Club's Team Oliver Racing GT3 Championship. I'm just posting some links out, usual stuff I do at the start of every stream, so just give me a second to get this done, and yeah, then I'll be with you. So I submitted to Tanzo and CRT as well. Let me get my stream chat open, just in case any of you lot do decide to come and keep me company. Yeah. I'll eat them. So that's that. So this is round number 9. Now we're really chomping on with the championship now. Penultimate round is ahead of us. This one is I get my things on. This one is the last. I believe it's the last endurance format one. Let me just check on Facebook. Whoever approved my post in Tanzo, appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm just going to have a look at the events because Potter has posted all this stuff up. It hasn't said. Doesn't say. But it's a Catalunya, so it could be a 50-minute. Okay, so I'll eat my words. I'm not too sure if it is the last endurance. Yeah, I don't know if it is the last endurance themed race, but nevertheless, this one's going to prove a bit of a challenge to the drivers. Blantyre is one of those tracks that punishes any small error. Very similar to Suzuka in the fact there ain't a lot of runoff, and the areas where there is runoff, there's just endless sand and gravel traps. So outside of turn 1 is a particular favourite. Hunty, A up mate, A up, yeah, live, second night in a row. What is going on with my life? What am I doing? Yeah, just second live comms, this time the GT3s. This time it is Mature Racing Club's GT3 League in association with Team Oliver Racing, and of course we are driven as well. 2 lobbies tonight. Of course you're watching the ProAm lobby. There is a Pro lobby stream as well. That one's hosted by Dark Smoker, and you can go and check out the commentary for that one live. It should be live right now over on YouTube. Just search YouTube for Dark Smoker and you'll see it. Alternatively, if you're watching this on YouTube, that means it's already happened and it's too late to catch it live. But if you look in the description of the video, there will be a link to Dark Smoker's stream as well. And indeed, I've done that throughout the season, so you can always go back and check the other lobby out and see what's crack-a-lacking with the Pro boys. The Pro-Ams, though, have treated us some absolutely fine racing so far this season. We've had some really good battles throughout it. We're shaping up for a championship fight as well between this man right here, Duco, currently leading the championship, and this man right here who's sat in the pits, Rob Scott, who's had a resurgence in that Chevrolet. Just 7 points separate the 2 drivers coming into the penultimate round. So that could well go down to the wire at Catalunya, depending on how we finish up here. So if Duco wins the race and Rob Scott basically has an absolute horror show, then Duco will have taken the title really early, I think. So we'll see what happens. Of course, one of my favourite sayings is "we'll see," and it's because we will. I'm hoping for a better race for this man here, someone who's not had the rub of the green this season. The Chevrolet team have really struggled to get that car dialed in. This another handling circuit as well. So the big Gret lumping V8 that's under the bonnet of that, or hood, as his team will say. It has affected the handling of that car. Someone whose big Gret lumping engine at the front of the car hasn't affected his progress too much is Britsberger, currently fastest in free practice. 22.1 under his belt so far. Just parking it up forwards under the bridges. Now he's carrying on. Thought he was giving us a nice dramatic cinematographic shot then of his car, but he's not. Alright, so we're about to get underway for qualifying. During the race I'll tell you what the crack is with with the race, because this one, the endurance one, always does come down to an interesting little bit of strategy. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm just going to set myself up a little spreadsheet if I have time. Let me fire my laptop up. If I start my laptop now, then it should be should actually be running by the time the race starts. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to put everyone in there what their starting tyre is, and then I'll know what tyre they have to take, because I got lost last time out. It really confused me what tyres people still had to take. So another restart coming up. So this is qualifying now, 15 minutes to decide the order for the grid. And now let's talk about Slow Seamus. A win and 2 fastest laps last time out. Absolute dominant performance from the Irishman. Pretty much just aced it the entire time. Another track that in theory should suit the Audi. But it's just going to rely on you keeping it clear. I said a sort of similar thing. Anyone that watched the Infinite GT Manufacturers Series race last night, I said a similar thing during that this may well just prove to be a race of attrition. Very easy to make a mistake here. Very easy to make a mistake. And if you can be one of the drivers that just keeps it clean, consistent on the circuit, yeah, you may necessarily give a little bit of your potential away in terms of lap time, because you're not pushing the nuts off at every single lap. But the theory is going to be that you're not going to lose as much time by visiting the sand traps there. As you can see, that they are very inviting. Slow Seamus is giving himself, he's going to have to come in and get that damage fixed. That's again setting himself up. He were coming in anyway because he's on the medium tyre, so what you'll probably see now is a few drivers just peel off into the pits and get their tyres changed. Britsburg is not going to be one of them. D-Dot's going out on a set of mediums as well to set his quality time, so is Slow Seamus. These drivers potentially just looking to fuel burn for a little bit. Phil G there. Gets set exhaust fitted to that Honda NSX. Phil G, another driver that will be looking for a good performance out of this one. Duco's form's dipped a little bit. He'll be looking to assert himself. Understand he had a penalty from last time out as well, although it doesn't carry over into this one. Right. Just while we watch Britsberger, who's going to be the first driver to set us a time. I had some steak and I've got a little bit stuck in my teeth, so if you hear me like make some weird noises, it's because I'm trying to get a bit of steak out of me bloody gum. Excel. Let's go for Excel. I do have the tables, so I can go through the tables with you. I'm not going to do that just yet. Might well wait for a lull in the racing. So Britsberger we know is doing 22s in practice. What I will say though is that last corner didn't look the tidiest as ever done, but a 21.9 for Britsberger. And don't forget, I expect these times to get faster. D-Dot 24.8, he's out on there on the mediums. Diablo puts a 22.3 on the board. Duco 23.4 as well. So not barnstorming times to get us underway, apart from Britsberger's, but these will get faster as the session wears on. Rob Scott's a championship protagonist, not a great out. Yeah, he's just so he's out on hards. So again, he's just fuel burning at the minute. That's what he's doing. So a lot of these drivers putting their eggs in one basket. To be fair, they're just relying on a clear track, maybe a little bit of track evolution here at Brands Hatch. As the track gets more rubbered in and drivers do start putting a little bit more rubber down, you do tend to see the times improve. There's a little bit more natural grip out there. Right, I have Excel going. I'm just going to put that keyboard on there. Ugh. I need a proper desk for this stuff, don't I? Was improving that time around. Isn't going to be a barnstorming beating time. No, in fact, he's lost a ton of time in that third sector. So a lot of drivers making mistakes in qualifying then, which is quite unusual. Let's slow Seamus out there when I set us off, so is Lucky Bucky. So a few drivers haven't really set representative times yet. Diablo, Phil G, Sonic, Sean, Cutler, Lucky Bucky goes third. .22.9, it's a good time for the Mercedes drive. The Mercedes do seem to be struggling to get their tyres working. Okay, right, so halfway through quali. Britzberger is your current pole setter, but if he's not challenged towards the end of this qualifying session, I'll be very surprised. Diablo currently holding second place in quali in the Mustang. Phil G has got himself off the mark then, 22.8 for the Honda driver with Lucky Bucky in P3. It doesn't improve that time round. Sonic Racer in the Jag, another good qualifying session for the Jag driver at P5, but he's on an outlap at the moment, going for another go at it. Sean in the McLaren, just 2 rounds to go in that car, Sean. I know you've not had the best of times with it. And then Duco in the Mercedes, he's on an outlap now. He's going to be going for another run at it. 1.5 seconds off the lead at the moment. Slow Seamus 23.4 at the minute. He was good enough for P8 with Cutler in P9 on a 23.7. D-Dots, he's nearly 3 seconds off the pole time at the moment in the Chevrolet. Out there on the medium tyre. Gwyn P11, Roving Island P12 on a 25.8. Rob Scott at the moment slowest driver on a 40.1, but don't forget we kind of expected that because he's just been out there burning fuel and doing other bits and bobs. So again, this lap he's on might well be a fire lap for him. In fact, he is improving all the time. He's actually putting some decent sector times in. Let's see what he chooses to do this time round. A 1:21.9 is still the pace to beat by Britzberger. What's it going to be for the Chevrolet? It's not going to be a 1:21.9. It's actually going to be a considerable lot slower than that. It's going to be in the 22.9 zone. It's good enough for P4 for Rob Scott. Pretty much a second off Britzberger's pole time, which is set on relatively high fuel. So it's a very good lap there by Britzberger. Not been able to replicate it since. Right, let me just get my Twitch chat up on my laptop as well, and a few other bits and bobs, and then we'll have a proper run through quali and see what everyone's got in the tank. We've still got a little bit of time left, you see, so what you do tend to find in these qualifying sessions is Duco is actually improving his times. 23.4 for the championship leader so far. He's going to be looking for an improvement. Gets in the 22.5. Good enough for P3 then at the moment for Duco. That's it. Second row of the grid for him. He'll be happy with that. And there's still time to find in that lap, I feel, for him, because looking at his sector times, Didn't match his personal best in sector 2, I think it was. So yeah, Duco's got lots of little mini sectors here at Brands Hatch, so you do get quite a good picture to paint in qualifying if you keep an eye on those sectors. Rob Scott then. Oh, he's got engine damage. So is there actually an issue there in that Chevrolet? I'm not sure. He's going to have to go get that fixed. He will have enough time to set another lap. Lucky Bucky's not improved on that 22.9, but it is still a very good time. Sean out there in the McLaren has just set a better time, 23.1 for him. Roving Ireland currently last of the qualifiers, but he is going a hell of a lot faster. Now he's burning some of that fuel away. We will just keep an eye on Roving Ireland through this lap. Actually, he's 1.5 seconds up. That will leapfrog him quite a few places if he can keep that going then. Yeah, he's still up on his time. Just one more corner to go. Towards the end of this, we might jump on board with someone and go on a lap of Brands Hatch actually. What can Roving Ireland do? It's a 24.3, good enough for P11, leapfrogs Gwyn and D-Dot. So a good lap time there by Roving Ireland. I'm going to take my wheel off. 1 minute. I've got a quick release on this new wheel, so boom, there we go, wheels off. Just gives me a little bit more space, I guess, to do things, because I get the keyboard back on my lap now. If only you guys could see the low-tech setup I'm running. Right, so we've 4 and a bit minutes left. Plenty of time for these orders to change. Duco wasn't improving on his time. No, he wasn't. Quite a little bit off his sectors actually. 22.3 is his best time so far. He did improve it last time out. Not an improvement this time. Yeah, there he is, he's in the pits. I was just going to say I'm expecting him in the pits here, and he didn't disappoint. Right, so Diablo's going to go and set another one. This is last chance saloon for most of these drivers now. Brooksburg, is he getting a little bit of dirty air then from Lucky Bucky up ahead? Maybe. There he is, 2 temps down on that first sector there. You don't want too much. You don't want too much dirty air when you're going around here, because it's all about your front axle. Your front axle grip is what dictates your pace around this circuit. If you don't have that, you don't have any pace at all. So the drivers should have been dialing this in as we go through the practice sessions during the week, and as we get to qualifying. And you see Britsburg is just backing off now. He's giving himself that space for another lap. He's had this lap as a preparation lap just to get his tyres in the right window. So tyres look good, fuel looks good. He's giving him the space on track. He's got some empty room in front of him, no cars behind him. Let's see if Britsberger can improve on that 21.9 that he set earlier on. Meanwhile, Diablo's just coming around the penultimate corner now. He isn't improving, so he might be doing a preparation lap as well. Sean, no, P3 at the moment. He's just popped in a 22.3 in the McLaren. That's a great time for Sean. Sorry, we appear to miss that one, bud. I'm just gonna hide that. There we go. Right, so Britsberger then is on a fast lap. I need to go on board with someone actually, don't I? Hasn't yet started. Oh, Phil G's gone wide there down the, looks like, yeah, that's on the Cooper straight. We might have to do this on-board lap during the race. In fact, we will, because we're too close to the end of qualifying for it to really matter too much. But Britsberger then 1:21.9 to beat, to improve on his time as Cutler goes P2. Oh, he does improve it, 21.7. That's a superb lap from Britsberger. Then Cutler with a 22.0, down on his time this time round. Diablo, is he going to be able to do anything? He rounds clearways now and through Clark Curve onto the main straight. 22.3 to beat for him. He does improve, actually, big improvement, but it's just not enough to leapfrog him up a position. 22.0, 300 second off Cutler's time there. Sean doesn't look like he's going out again. Duco, what can he do? He might well get round to set another lap after this. If he gets across the line in time. He just about hits the thing before. Yeah, I think Duco's going to be the last one to set a time. Britsberger's out there again. Rob Scott, can he improve? No, he's down so far this lap. Phil G's not out there again. Lucky Bucky, P7 for Lucky Bucky, 22.7 for the Mercedes driver. Those tyres, they have seen the best though. They're far past it. So this might not be an improvement for the Mercedes driver. I'm just keeping an eye out for names. Sonic Race has just improved. Lucky Bucky then 22.7 to beat. It's not going to improve this time around. 22.9 for Lucky Bucky. Slow Seamus P8. D-Dot in 9th then at the moment, but that is because a couple of cars are in the pits. So everyone's getting their race tyres prepped. Let's see if anyone's improving this time round. I don't think they are. D-Dot was going for another one. Is Duco? Duco is... Oh, it looks like he's down a little bit actually. Yeah, I want to say he's down maybe a little bit, but we will just keep on board with Duco and just see what he can do. Probably not fast enough to steal the pole time off Britsberger, unfortunately. But still a good effort, and this race is definitely more of a marathon and not a sprint. So let me just get my spreadsheet going and start updating it with the tyres people are starting on. Now I know that information. But I'll wait till we're into the race to do this. So that's it then for qualifying at Brands Hatch. Your pole sitter is going to be Britsberger. Right, so the 5-minute break that we're about to have does give me the opportunity to tell you all about this race then. So we've got 50 minutes of Brands Hatch GP coming up. In terms of strategy, the guys are going to have to think about this pretty intensely, because the drivers have only been allocated 3 sets of tyres. So they have been given 1 set of the softs for the race, 1 set of the mediums for the race, and 1 set of the hard compound tyres. They must use all 3 tyres for, I think it's a minimum of 3 laps, I think. Yeah, and they're not allowed to use multiple sets. Of course, if we get any like punches or anything random and weird like that, then exceptions will of course apply. But strategically, they're not allowed to. They're not allowed to be coming in and changing tyres. So the 2 championship protagonists aren't on the front row of the grid. The front row of the grid belongs to a Dutchman and an Australian. So at the minute, Britsberger in the Aston Martin, he's probably getting some practice starts in while we've got the break, and Diablo in the Mustang. So these guys will be wanting to just dictate the pace during the early part of the race. I would be surprised if we saw any cars running the soft tyre. To start with, most people will run the medium or the hard to start with. Probably the medium's going to be the most popular choice. And then your strategy then kicks in towards the end of the race just to see what people might well be up to. But Britsberger's got the first scalp of the night with the pole position. And yeah, we'll see what the next 50 minutes has in store. Race start in 2 minutes there from race control. So we are nearly ready to get underway. Any predictions you may have for the race. Please do drop them below and let me know who you think might take this. And I haven't got a drink. It is a travesty. I'll probably be dipping out halfway through this to go and get myself a drink. So all the drivers then just parked up, having a little bit of a rest. I'll pick this one. It's quite a scenic picture of Brands Hatch. Look, it's quite a nice little view we've got. So the last round then, round 10, is going to be from Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, a track you will know from the Formula 1. The Formula 1 guys raced there the other week. Wasn't a boring race, but in the GTs you tend to get better racing there in the GTs, because you can follow cars in GT racing. You can't do it in Formula 1. Checking a few things, making sure things are posted. Cool. Right, I'm back ready to get underway then. I'm just waiting for the host with the most, Mr. Cutler, to get us underway. I'm sure there's a driver missing. Who is it? Yeah, it is Cutler. He qualified quite well, so I'm sure when he gets himself back out there, we might see a car demoted down. I think he might have even out-qualified Duco. We will of course see when he comes out. Phil G, how you doing, mate? Good luck for tonight. You have the car for this one. Granted, the NSX probably a little bit on the tricky side, to be fair to you, but it's the nimble enough, it saves its tyres enough, and normally in these sort of races are the ones where your car comes good. So best of luck to you, my pedigree chum. Tables actually, just while Cutler's not starting the race, I'll just have a quick look at the tables. I'm sure I saved them. Have I got them in my gallery? Yes, I do. Look at me being all organised. I've saved them and everything. Right, so top of the championship then is Duco, 236 points to his name. 7 points behind him is Rob Scott, 229 points. P3 is Britsburg at the moment, 210 points to his name. So again, if he has some good results, he is another championship contender. Then we've got Diablo, 203 points. He's had a very good season as Diablo. Then Cutler in P5 on 200 points. P6 is Phil G, 184 points for Phil G. Sean, 153 points, despite the fact he absolutely despises his car. Lucky Bucky, 141 points for Lucky Bucky. He holds down P8. Buddy, who we haven't seen for a while, on 138 points in the Mustang on P9. Then we've got Sonic Racer at P10 in the Jaguar, 107 points to his name. Slow Seamus, 101 points for Slow Seamus. D-Dot, 95 points for D-Dot in P12. Roving Ireland, 94 points, P13. Gwyn, P14, 78 points, and last but by no means least is Gwyn, 53 points in 15th place. Here we go then, we're ready to rock and roll from Brands Hatch. The grid is set, the scene is set. It is Cutler on P2 then, with Diablo P3. None of the championship content, the top two in the championship, occupy the third row of the grid. It's going to be an interesting fight between those two to see how they get off, of course. Let me just get my little tyre tracker spreadsheet going. as we get ready to get underway then for 50 minutes of brand hatch and the GT3s. Everyone seems to get away well. The rear wheel drive Mercedes, all of the Mercedes actually seem to get a little bit bogged down, apart from Cutler, who had a great start already up alongside Britsberger, doesn't manage to get a move made. We have got Rob Scott going out wide though, coming through turn 1. That has dropped him down a couple of positions. Duco made a decent start, he's up to P4. Phil G's in 5th with Lucky Bucky in 6th. He's made a great start, good recovery. Diablo lost a load of positions off the start. He's down in P7 now. Potentially down to tyre choice. Sonic Racer P9 Roving Island in 10th. We have got a Mercedes off the track up ahead. That is Cutler. He's in P5 now. Ran it a little bit wide. He's dropped back behind Phil G. Not too sure what happened there, but he's just probably struggling with tyre temperature. The hard tyres, I'll be brutally honest with you, the hard tyres are going to take a few laps for these guys to warm them up. Did he just run it out? Yeah, he just ran it wide. So unfortunately for Cutler, he's dropped a couple of positions, but he probably expected that with the tyres he's on. But Britsberger leading the way then ahead of Sean in the McLaren. Sean also running the medium tyres. Had a very good qualifying, did the McLaren driver, now being chased down by Duco, also running the medium tyres then. Phil G also running the medium tyres. Phil's carrying a little bit of damage. I'm not too sure what's happened to Phil. I didn't really catch that. And we've got Cutler in P5. First driver there out on the hard tyres. Then we'll look at Lucky Bucky also on the medium tyres. Diablo, who's dropped a couple of positions, we believe he's on the hard tyres. Yeah, that's why he did it. Diablo's on the hard tyres as he goes for a move around the outside. Oh, he's made a mistake. He's off at turn 1. Nearly recovered it, and D-Dot there does very well to get out of him, but that's going to cost D-Dot a ton of room as we see Slow Seamus right at the back of the grid. He's had a terrible first lap. Something bad's happened to Slow Seamus there. Owen is off at turn 1. The Audi driver is having an absolute nightmare, I'm afraid. Rob Scott then. Rob Scott has largely recovered from his earlier antics again. With Rob, it's the hard tyres, so these guys getting these tyres out of the way nice and early. D-Dot also in the Chevrolet. He's on the medium tyres as our D-Dot. Most drivers taking that medium tyre. Roving Island. Oh, we've got yellow flags up ahead. Someone's had a big accident. Who was that? That's a Mercedes. That's Cutler, isn't it? Is it? No, it's Lucky Bucky. So where's this? Is it Dingledale? No, it's coming up towards Sheen Curve then, so this is a blind apex. He's right tucked under Cutler's wheel. He just dips a wheel on the grass on the outside, and unfortunately, I mean, he gets saved by the gravel chop, but that's going to put him quite a way down, then down into P12, just ahead of Slow Seamus still. Britsberger is starting to make an escape though in the Aston Martin. Sean doing a good job just ahead of Duco. Duco's not really putting too much pressure on him at the minute. He doesn't necessarily need to. He's still holding down 3rd position. Phil G carrying a little bit of that damage, and with the medium tyres, he's going to be wanting to take those tyres quite a distance into the race, so he's got to carry that damage. Fortunately for Phil G, the damage does look to be on the right hand side of the car. That's not a side of the car that sees too much load. Here at Brands Hatch, it's all about your front left. Granted, he's got a little bit of damage there to the front splitter. The Honda team should be able to get that sorted in the next pit stop for him. But it's not worth him making a pit stop just to repair that. He'll lose way more time than he would otherwise lose just by carrying on with the damage. We've got Rob Scott up a position, obviously due to I think a car ahead went off. Sonic Racer with a little bit of a tyre advantage over the car ahead, just looking for an opportunity to get his way past. Good first couple of laps for D-Dot. He's just kept his nose clean, out of trouble. That's exactly what he needs to be doing at this stage. Nice, consistent, good laps then for D-Dot. Same for Roving Island. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. Gwyn, another Jag. So this is where we're getting Diablo. Diablo has pitted and is now fitted the softs. He's the first driver. So this is a very aggressive strategy then from Diablo. First driver to make a tyre change in this race. because I believe he's allowed to now. That's it. The sanctions on that have been lifted. So let's go back and have a look at Britzberger then. P1 for him, 2.7 seconds gap ahead of Sean. Sean has pulled a gap ahead of Duco. You do just feel though that a lot of these drivers are just managing at the moment. Just managing tyre life, especially those drivers that are rocking the mediums. The drivers on hards are trying to push a little bit more early on, just trying to extract pace out of that. We've got, well, we did have 3 drivers on the hard tyre. It was Rob Scott, that was Diablo, and it's Cutler, but now obviously Diablo has made that early switch to the soft tyre, spending as little time, less than 5 minutes on that hard tyre as he possibly can. It just was not working for him. Don't forget that leaves his team with only 2 sets of tyres remaining, one of them strapped to his car. He will be, he's committed himself to quite a long stint on those soft tyres. He's going to have to try and take him about 20 minutes. Which, to be fair, should be doable. I see no reason why he can't really do that. We'll see what tricks he has under his sleeve. Right, Slow Seamus goes for another visit, off the edge of the track. Next lap round, we'll go for a lap on board with Britzberger or an other driver. I'll just show you around Brands Hatch, one of my personal favourite tracks, a real drivers' challenge. Then. When you look at driver challenges, obviously Nürburgring is way up there in that conversation, but it has to be argued Brands Hatch is a track you can rank in with that. There's really no areas where you can catch a break really at Brands Hatch. If you make a mistake, you're off into the kitty litter, or you're making very big dents into the crash structure. Let's jump on board with Britzberger then. So down towards turn 1, Panic Hill bends, track drops away from you on the left hand side, so you need to tuck yourself in for an early exit. Just be careful when you're applying the throttle. Uphill braking zone, then up Harwood Hill into Druids, one of the more famous corners in racing. Just be very patient on your throttle as Slow Seamus up ahead. He's potentially going to get lapped here early on, then through Graham Hill bend, down the Cooper Straight. Then it's 30s, one of the more challenging tracks. Again, you want to carry that early apex speed and just be careful really applying and modulating the throttle. Through Pilgrim's Drop, then down Hawthorne Hill into Hawthorns itself, a very fast right-hander. This is the one where your left-hand tyre just starts screaming in pain. Then you go through Westfield, you want to clip a lot of the apex here on the right-hand side. Now your left-hand tyre is really going through that heat cycle. It's really starting to get some pain in it. Through Sheen Curve, then another punishing left-hander. The car leaps into the air temporarily, and unless you've got good tyres underneath you, you will go off there. Through Sterling's, down towards Clearways, under the Advan Bridge. Hopefully still have some grip left in that left-hand tyre as you go through Clark Curve to start another lap of Brands Hatch. So that's a lap then. 2.4 miles, 11 corners. And, yeah, one of the better racing circuits in the UK. How's this little battle going on then between, was it Cutler? Oh, it was D-Dot and Sonic Racer. It was D-Dot and Sonic Racer. Sonic Racer's lap 5 was a 28.7. Lost a bucket load of time somewhere. These D-Dot's starting to cook those mediums already, only 10 minutes into the race. God knows what it'll be like when he gets a set of softs strapped to that car. Hopefully he can keep them in a window a little bit better than that. JDP Gaming, come on Sean, come on Lucky Bucky, hello, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for tuning in. So Rob Scott then, another driver that peels off into the pits. So Rob Scott started on the hards, he's now made a switch to the medium, so that the only driver that's still carrying the hard tyre that started on it is Cutler. I'd probably expect him in soon to bin that tyre off, because he's one of the drivers that can definitely stretch that tyre a lot longer. The medium tyre, sorry. Slow Seamus having an absolute torrid time. He's been lapped already. Britzberger's 23.0 pace, very, very impressive. He's 4.5 seconds ahead of Sean. A little bit further ahead of Duco. Duco's suffering a little bit more with his tyre wear, probably running a little bit more downforce potentially than the McLaren, but the McLaren, to be fair, in Sean's hands, has held its tyres really well in this championship. Cutler does not pit. He's doing 24.4s on hard, so I mean, I'd argue he's doing quite well. Quinn has joined the room. Quinn's a little bit late. Unfortunately for Quinn, I don't think he'll be able to take part in the race. Who's that off the circuit? I want to say it's Slow Seamus. It is. The Audi driver has been pretty much lapped by everybody now. It's already turned into a bad day for Slow Seamus. The Audi driver getting the good old Nikita Mazepin Blue Flags Championship. Always Lucky Bucky makes a nice move there. In the Mercedes, coming up behind a lapped car. Toto will be on the radio. It's going to cost us a position. That's my worst Toto. Always Lucky Bucky's gone a little bit deep through Sheen Curve. That could give Diablo the opportunity to nick that position. Just starting to feel the tyres now a little bit. The Mercedes do seem to be cooking the tyres a little bit more. And the Mercedes do naturally carry a little bit more camber. Naturally, I mean, the team should have been able to dial a lot of that out during testing. But they are struggling with it. The McLarens don't seem to have that problem, neither do the Hondas necessarily. The Hondas, I mean, look at Phil G, he's doing an absolutely excellent job. Slow Seamus, after winning, after a brilliant time last time out, has had to retire the car. It's terrible news. Slow Seamus is he's had to retire the car. That's not great. Hopefully he's all okay. Let's see if we can get an update from the team at some point to relay to you. So your championship leader then, sorry, not your championship leader, one of your championship protagonists, going a little bit aggressive with the strategy. So we've got Lucky Bucky coming under pressure from Diablo. Diablo in the Ford. He's on fresher soft tyres. He needs to navigate this traffic there as he gets his way past D-Dot. It's hard to overtake cleanly here at Brands Hatch. Diablo will have that tyre advantage. The problem for Diablo is he doesn't want to be cooking those tyres too early. He's got to take those quite away yet. Going to get a move made on the Mercedes. You don't get a great view out the back of the Mercedes, to be honest. Diablo does slide his way up the inside through turn 1. Well, Lucky Bucky's going to immediately go back on the attack. And unfortunately for the Mercedes, does just have to give that position up for the time being. Diablo in theory, I mean, he's on a tyre advantage, so he should just start to scoot away now, but we'll see what he does. So 12 runners remain. Britzberger, I think whatever is gaining time on the pack, which he is at the minute, and he's in the 23s and consistently in the 23s on the medium tyre. He might as well stay on it. Just give me a second. So my daughter needed to know how to get a lamp working upstairs. Right then, so what I was going to say, I mean, if I'm Britzberger or I'm the Aston Martin team, I'm probably going to look at putting my boy out on the hards next. Just to get them out of the way mid-race, because he's potentially going to pit into traffic. and then get rid of the get the softs on with about 15 minutes to go, there or thereabouts. So yeah, we've had a few cars pit. I'm just scanning through to see if I've missed any pit stops. I don't think I have. I think we're doing okay. Britsburger goes around to start a 12th lap. Oh, we've got a car that's off. I just heard, and that's Cutler's car. Oh, that's a horrible news for Cutler. He's going to take his opportunity to pit. Oh, that's horrible news for the Mercedes driver. That's going to cost him a ton of time. What happened to him there? I mean, he was overdue this pit stop anyway. Well, yeah, carried a lot of speed into Clark Curve. Just going to touch the gravel on the outside, span him into the wall, and he was lucky not to get beached in that little coned off area that he's got there. So we'll see what tyres the Mercedes team decide to strap onto that car. But then that does mean his hard stint is out of the way. He's only got faster tyres to come. Duco's taken a lot of life out of that front left. We have gone through 16 minutes of the race, and I don't think he wants to really spend that much time on the hard compound tyre. So he may well dip into the pits soon and get rid of that. We have got a good little battle kicking off here between D4 Roving Island Gwyn and Rob Scott. Rob Scott's lap 10 was a 1:30.0, and an absolute mare of a lap. So again, this is all playing into Duco's hands. The longer he's stuck in traffic, Duco's team might just be looking for a gap for him to pit into. At the minute, if he was to pit, he'd probably come out around Diablo, Lucky Bucky, D4 sort of territory. So they're probably just going to wait for a few others to pull that pin. Got good track position at the moment. Phil G's still carrying that damage. That will be costing him a little bit of time. He's dropping away from Sean ever so slightly. Similar cars, similar strategies, and similar tyre wear between the two cars, but unfortunately Phil's just carrying a little bit of damage. Picked that up quite early on in the race. Sonic Racer in the Jag doing a fine job there out on the mediums. He's just starting to drop time though now, which is a sign that pit windows will soon be open for those on the medium compound tyre. Cutler then. Cutler takes the mediums, so he's got rid of those hards already. So he has come forward. There's an accident somewhere, and it looks like it might even be Lucky Bucky. Is it? We had yellow flags out. Yeah, it was Lucky Bucky. Just went oh, he managed to recover it alright though, but will have taken a little bit of life out of those tyres. That's gone out, unfortunately. Let Roving Island and Rob Scott back through. So all that hard work Lucky Bucky did in the early part of the race, unfortunately, has been undone. Roving Island and Rob Scott battling away a little bit further ahead. Rob Scott picking up 2 positions in pretty much 2 corners. The Chevrolet driver just getting the moves made there on Roving Islands. Not too much of a fight put up there by Roving Island, which again, you kind of argue it's pointless. If a car's gonna come through anyway, there's not much point in holding it up. Right, so Britsburger carries on. He is starting to dip into the 24s now, so he's starting to lose a little bit of time. None of the top 3 decide to pit. That's his Duco's pit crew might just wave him on by for another lap. We have completed 20 minutes of running. We've we've lost one car already. That's the Audi of Slow Seamus. He's had to retire from the race. We have already seen 4 pit stops out of the 12 runners we have now. Sorry, 3 pit stops out of the 12 runners. So yeah, a quarter of the field have already been in and changed their tyres. A lot of people then, as we see D-Dot come into the pits. Very surprised if he takes the softs on next. He'll probably take the hards for quite a long stint. Say quite a long stint, about a 10-minute stint, more than likely. Maybe a little bit more. Britsberger's still pulling time on Sean. No movement from the Aston Martin garage so far. Certainly looks like they're quite content with where they are at the moment. Certainly feel the boys out there performing and doing everything they need them to do. McLaren outfit look to be doing a similar thing. I'm just waiting to see if I can see any of the Mercedes mechanics start to make a move. See if Duco does pull that pin early. He's not close enough to get a successful undercut on any of the cars ahead, but he can certainly recover some of that time. So yes, none of the top 3 do decide to pit. Duco will probably carry on. Yeah, he is indeed. And Diablo, he's the next. Yeah, he's the next one that's a little bit odd in my book, because he's already taken the hards. He's now on the softs. Like I said, he's got to stretch this. He's got to stretch this stint quite far. He's been on those tyres for 15 minutes. They're already way past their best, unfortunately. The front left on that car's taken an absolute kicking. He's being chased down by Rob Scott on a relatively fresh set of medium tyres. Roving Island and Lucky Bucky going at it yet again. This could be Lucky Bucky up the inside of Roving Island. It is. Cutler's going to sneak his way through as well. 2 for the price of 1 there for Mercedes, as 2 of their GT cars make their way through the NSX. He's just running his own race at the moment, and we've got we've got the first pit stop. We have got the leader into the pit lane then. Britsberger pits. 9.2 seconds was the lead. Does Sean match him? I don't think he's going to. No, he's not. Neither does Phil G. Does Duco see this as a signed pit? He does indeed. The Mercedes guys come running out of the pit lane, then they're going to get that car serviced. There they go. Sean assumes the lead of the race. He's got 1.8 second gap over Phil G. Britsberger back out, then he is on the hard tyres. Diablo back up to P4, but don't forget he's already made one of his pit stops. He's got rid of the hards nice and early. He's on the softs at the minute. He's got the mediums to come next. Duco also takes the racing hard tyre. Sonic Racer has taken the racing hard tyre. Yeah, so most people doing what I sort of expected them to do. Lucky Bucky, the next car in the pits, he's going to take some fuel on board. He's got quite a lot of fuel on board, that one. Right, so did D-Dot, did he pit already? And did the pit crew make some sort of mistake with the tyres, which means he's had to just come back in and get the tyres? I think that might have been what's happened. So I think what D-Dot might have done accidentally, his pit crew might have not changed the tyres on that Chevrolet, meaning he's just had to come back in again. I think that, looking at his times, that's what's happened, and he's fallen right to the back of the grid then, 2.8 seconds off the back of Gwyn. Yeah, so he's really lost out on time, and Gwyn's taken a set of racing softs on, so he's going for the aggressive mid strategy. Lucky Bucky on the racing hards. Sean, Phil G and Roving Island are the cars yet to pit. These guys have all stayed out. Fuel is becoming critical now for these guys. And then it's going to be a question as to how long your Britsburgers etc. do stay on their hard tyres. Probably not too long, in all fairness. So interesting mid-stage of the race then, where little strategy differences are playing out. Sean pits. He'll probably go onto those hard tyres. Yeah, Britsburger's fuelled for looks like he's fuelled for a relatively short mid-stint, so don't expect him out too long. Yeah, Sean does take the hards. Diablo's going to pit. He's going to get rid of those tyres. He's going to get the mediums on. So lots of funky things happening with the pit stops then. So yeah, Sean again, he's not thinking of staying on those tyres for too long, to be fair to him. Phil G still going. This is his 19th lap on these tyres with damage. He's been carrying damage the entire time. And he's not really suffering too much in terms of his lap times. So, doing a fantastic job at the moment, Phil G. Definitely a driver of the day candidate. Roving Ireland has pitted, taking on the hards. So Sisman to pull the trigger then, so Britsburger will reassume the lead of the race. In normal circumstances, if these rules were in place, Phil G could one-stop this race, so could Sean, because of how good they've been at the fuel saving. So the guys that are on the hards have to complete a minimum of 3 laps on those tyres. And I would actually expect that a lot of these guys will do just that. They'll probably not keep the hards on for any longer than they have to. Because a lot of drivers have the softs to come right at the end. So yeah, every driver has yet to take the softs other than Diablo and Gwyn. Everyone else is going to be doing the softs at the end. So Diablo and Gwyn, only drivers to have already had a set of softs on their car. Gwyn, of course, should be on those tyres now, and Diablo has just got rid of them. He's now on a set of racing mediums. He's completed all his pit stops though. He will be going to the end now. Shouldn't be pitting again, at least not for tyres. Doesn't have any left, the garage is empty. So a few different strategies going on with regards to this mid-stint. This is where it gets a little bit interesting. So a lot of drivers will have short fueled. The theory with that is if you're not expecting to stay on the hard tyres all that long, you don't put that much fuel in your car. If you're only needing to do 3 laps before you come in the pits again, what's the point in putting 10 laps worth of fuel in? That's their theory. The theory with that is you carry less weight during your harder tyre stint, and the downside is your next pit stop is a little bit longer because you have to add that fuel back in again that other drivers have been carrying around. But both will work in different circumstances. Very close then now between Phil G and Sean. He's done an absolutely fine job so far, both on the hard tyres. It's just going to be a case now as to how these two cars get those tyres working. Two championship protagonists then, very close now on track. Duco and Rob Scott. Rob Scott, of course, has been on these tyres a little bit longer than Duco, as Duco's on the hards. Both do have the softs to come next. Britsburger gets rid of those things straight away, so he's going to come in. This might be quite a long pit stop for Britsburger. He's going to have to fuel now to the end of the race. as Sean gives way to Phil G. Both drivers do carry on for another lap, because I think they have to. Britzberger has done the bare minimum, I think. What else is kicking off elsewhere? Yeah, so Diablo's got to nurse these tyres now. Gwyn gets his way past Roving Island. D-Dot carrying a little bit of damage on board that car. He's out on the hard tyres now. And yeah, I think that pit stop error has really cost him a result here. He just seems to have not had any good luck at all as D-Dot. It's cost him a bucket load of time, that has. Right, so Britzberger, unfortunately for, I mean, now he's going to the end of the race. This is Britzberger's, this is it for him. The problem is for Britzberger, he's tucked up behind Rob Scott and Duco on a track that is very hard to pass. Rob Scott looks like he might be coming in soon. Duco's on the hard tyres, so in theory, both of these drivers won't give Britzberger a hard time if he tries to overtake them. But these guys are all fighting for championship positions. You are looking at 1, 2, 3 in the championship in the order as well. Duco P3 in the race at the moment, P1 in the championship. Rob Scott might be peeling off into the pits actually. Yes, he tried to do that. Britzberger fired his car down the inside. Rob Scott is going to make his last pit stop. He will be taking the soft compound tyre on board that car and enough fuel to get to the end of the race. Britzberger then 8 seconds off the lead, with all cars in front of him needing to make a final pit stop. Phil G's and Sean's pit stops can't be too far away. All cars ahead of Britzberger also on the slower compounded tyres, so that 8-second gap should absolutely tumble now. The Aston Martin is on the really sticky soft compound rubber. Duco put up that much of a fight when the Aston Martin comes to pass him. Aston Martin driver already setting purple sector times. Now don't forget, Duco doesn't, even though they're on different strategies, he's under no obligation to get out of the way. You can defend him if he wants to. He's under absolutely no obligation to get out of the way, and it's not necessarily in his interest to get out of the way as well, because he's in his own tight competitive race to do. So Britzberger's got to make this move himself. Duco, though, don't forget, might well peel off into the pits and get rid of those hard compound tyres. You can see how much he's struggling for grip. He carries on for another lap. Britzberger then not able to make the move down into turn 1. Duco goes a bit wide, and Britzberger should make that move up the inside. Yeah, Duco doesn't really fight it. Doesn't really need to be fair at the moment. And Cutler's coming up to his final pit stop then. So yeah, most drivers timing it so that they have 15 minutes to run on that tyre. Most are doing that. D-Dot then starting to get laps put on him after 1,000,001 pit stops being made by the Chevrolet team. There'll be an awful debrief going on between those guys. Yeah, they'll have some work to do in the debrief. Rob Scott 30 seconds off the lead of the race at the minute, pitted and going to the end. Diablo 23 seconds off the lead of the race and going to the end. Oh, we've got what's that? That is Cutler, is it not? Yes, it is Cutler, and that was an overtake for position. Cutler, unfortunately, I mean, he's coming into the pits now anyway, but this is just right at the end of his stint. Cutler coming through Sheen Curve. Does he touch the grass on the exit? He does indeed. It just sends the car into a bit of a violent spin. Fortunately, he's getting rid of those tyres now anyway, as his lovingly attired pit crew come out to greet him. Right, Phil G then. Lead of the race for Phil G. Him and Sean surely due that pit stop any moment now. Britsberger, you remember we came to him not long ago. The deficit between him and the leader was 8 seconds. That was about a lap ago. It's now 4.2 seconds. It just shows you the advantage you've got on the soft tyre. Not sure why Phil G and Sean are putting off this pit stop for this long. Maybe they don't feel as confident in taking the softs as long to the end of the race. They do fall off pretty quickly, the softs, unless you nurse them a little bit. Phil on the hard is carrying on for another lap. Sean may dive in here. In fact, he does not want the smoke that would have come with a fight with Britsberger. Duco also pits, so those two are going to be going to the end now on the set of soft tyres. Phil G carries on for another lap. Britsberger then up to P2, but he will assume the lead of the race, and he'll have a pretty convincing lead when all's said and done. The next car to him is Diablo. Diablo's tyres are only going to start falling off a cliff as well anyway, because he's been on these mediums quite a while. So Sean's job now is to try and get past the Mustang. He's got Rob Scott for close company as well. This is spicing up. This is going to be fun. So to set the scene, ladies and gents, we've got Diablo in third on the mediums going to the end of the race. Then we've got Sean, Rob Scott and Duco, all within close proximity, all on the faster tyre. And they need, Rob Scott and Duco especially need the, I mean, if it finished like this, it'd be great for the championship fight, because it'd bring Britsberger into it. And yeah, it closed Rob Scott and Duco up coming into the final round. It would make it hella interesting. Cutler then goes on to the soft tyres. Just update my little spreadsheet. Phil G finally comes into the pits. Will he come out in this battle? Don't forget, he was part of that battle anyway. He was battling with this man. Phil G shouldn't have to take on that much fuel. Phil G actually comes out then. Solid second place. That has been a little bit of a strategic masterstroke for Phil G. Held really good pace. He's just got to get them tyres up to temperature pretty quickly. He doesn't want to start getting attacked too much. The car behind him that you see is D-Dot. So that is not a race for position. D-Dot's being lapped. That for Phil G was an absolute masterstroke, I think. Let me check through the rest of them. Sonic Racer now, he's on the soft tyres. Lucky Bucky's going to come in, he's going to put on a set of softs as well. Gwyn, he's on the hards, they're the remaining tyres he needs to take. Roving Islands, softs as well. So has everyone made their pit stops? I'm just checking. Seamus is obviously DNF'd. D-Dot. Yeah, D-Dot's made his stuff as well. So right, this is it then, ladies and gents. The cars you see on track are in the positions they are in. All pit stops have been made, all tyres have been used. There are no tyres left in the garages here at Brands Hatch. That is it. So to give you a rundown order, coming on the final 10 minutes here of round 9 of the Team Oliver Racing GT3 League hosted by Mature Racing Club. Your race leader is Britsberger. He's got a Hamilton-like 16-second gap ahead of him, ahead of the nearest car, and set in purple sectors as well. Bono, his tyres have definitely not gone. Phil G, the closest car to him. He's P2. Let's have a look at his pace. He's got 15.8 seconds. So, I mean, Phil G's got fresher tyres, but he would have to lap over a second a lap faster, well in advance of a second a lap faster than Britsberger. And I'll be honest, I just don't see it happening, but we'll see. Not a lot of time left. Oh, this is good. This is what I mean. This is what I'm on about. Look at this. Got Sean, Diablo, Duco, all in at close proximity to them for this P3 position. This is a podium battle, ladies and gents. This is a podium battle. This is all these cars then. Diablo's the only one on a slow compound tyre. All these cars are on softs going to the end of the race. We've seen how well Sean manages his tyres for his stint. You just get the feeling that if Sean can just keep these cars at bay for the next few laps, once they've started putting heat cycles through the tyres, then he should be home alright. Crazy, how you doing? Martin, how are you doing? Thanks for tuning. Sorry, I didn't have my stream chat up. I had another tab open because I was looking at something else. Oh, Diablo goes very wide there out of turn 1. That's going to give Duco an easy run. Unfortunately, that's dropped Diablo out of this fight that we were seeing. So at the minute, it is a podium for Digital Car Culture. In their very gorgeous livery, McLaren 650S GT3. Rob Scott, currently P2 in the championship standings. Needs to maximise his points out of this race meeting, and will be looking to get the move made on Sean. We'll be looking for an opportunity. Sean's got fresher tyres than both the cars behind him. No, we have Duco. That Mercedes has been chewing front lefts. Duco's maybe managing that a little bit more in this last stint. Doesn't want to cook these tyres too much. Sonic Racer in the Jag, we've not touched him too much, but he's having a great race. Absolutely solid performance from Sonic Racer at the moment. P6 for him with Diablo in P7. He had a bit of an awful start, had to get rid of a set of tyres nice and early. Cutler's done a maze pin a few times and spun around near the pits, so he's dropped him back a little bit. Otherwise you wonder what he could have done with the pace he's got in his pocket. 24s, 23s on mediums, he could have well been up there. Lucky Bucky's had similar bad luck, to be fair. He's had a couple of off-track excursions, but he's had really good pace in that Mercedes. Gwyn currently in P10, just being lapped by the leader. Roving Island in P11, and my man D-Dot, who's a great streamer over on Facebook. You want to check D.90 out on Facebook and go and have a look at his streams. Please do go and support him. Doesn't just do Gran Turismo, does a lot of like shoot 'em up type stuff as well. So if you're American, you'll love him. This though, this is the battle. This is it. This is the battle we need to be seeing. Sean versus Rob Scott versus Duco. 7.5 minutes remain here at Brands Hatch, and we've got a three-way battle for the last step of the podium. Sonic Racer is sneaking. He's not far away. He's only 3 seconds back from this. If any of these guys have an off, Sonic Racer's suddenly involved as well. Yeah, so it's not easy to make a pass here. You've kind of got to rely on the drivers ahead making mistakes. Duco just carried a little bit too much pace there. The rear tyres on Mercedes didn't like that, just snapped away from him. Cost him a 10th or so coming down the main straight, but 22.8 this time round for the Mercedes, and that time was a 23.5, so he pulled a lot of time on Rob Scott that lap. Rob, who is dropping back from Sean, 1.1 seconds is the gap between the McLaren and the Chevrolet. Sean setting his personal best laps. He's got those tyres into a tyre window now, so he can just get those tyres working. Rob Scott with a little bit of wear showing on that. That tells me that he's already been putting those tyres through a little bit of punishment and trying to attack the McLaren. Now maybe just has to cool the car a little bit and go for another go towards the end of the race. Give Britzberger the credit where credit's due. He's just pulling that gap over Phil G. Phil is an exceptionally talented driver, of course, and not a lot of fuel on board that car. Has Phil got enough fuel to get to the end of the race? If he has to pit again to put fuel in that car, that'll be awful. That'll be bad. Oh, we've got a battle here for P4 between Rob Scott and Duco. Duco's going, having a look there, coming into Clark Curve. Nothing doing, I'm afraid, though. Duco had to back out of that one, but he is well in attack mode here against the Chevrolet. German engineering versus American muscle. This is great news for Sean though, because Sean can scamper off up the road while these two start to fight. This will be costing these guys time. We're about to break a timing beam, so yeah, it's cost them 3 temps in that first sector alone, this little fight. neither of them will want to be punting each other off the circuit. Duco though will want to get that move made. Some great news for Sean, he can start to scamper away. 2.2 seconds is now the gap between him and Rob Scott. Rob and Duco fighting it out. Sonic Race is still lurking like a vulture. Diablo just trying to keep his tyres working. Then Cutler has set the fastest lap of the race, 21.9. By contrast, the leader's fastest lap is a 22.3, so a good 4 tenths faster than the leader of the race, Cutler, at this late stage. Just shows the pace he's got. He's just not been able to. Well, he's made a few mistakes, so extracting that pace has been difficult. D-Dot there just getting lapped by Sonic Racer. So Jaguar putting a lap on the Chevrolet. Unfortunately, a bit of a miserable day for the Chevrolet. Their team have struggled throughout the season, just getting that front end dialed into the car. Check back on the Rob Scott and Duco fight has simmered a little bit. Again, these drivers probably just cooling the car down, just preserving a little bit of tyre life for having another attack. Of course, that's what I'd like to think is happening. Driver possibly on for his would this be Sean's best finish yet? If he can bring it home, 3 minutes remaining, so we're closing in on just a handful of laps left to go. And I've got to be honest, he's doing a fantastic job of managing them tyres. He changed his tyres at the same time Rob Scott and Duco did, and just to give you a little bit of a visual comparison, that's their Duco's tyres, 30% wear on that front left according to our data. Sean, not even 10% wear on the front left of his tyre, so he'll be getting a lot more lateral grip through these corners. No other real battles kicking off elsewhere other than the Gwyn v Roving Ireland fight. It's between 10th and 11th. Roving Ireland in the NSX might be having a look at the back of the Jaguar coming down the main straight. Sorry, coming down the back straight. The NSX get it done. Oh, there's a little bit of contact at the apex. Roving Ireland does have to back out of it. I think he was alongside, so he was entitled to go for that. Just can't get it made at this time. They are close to getting a lap put on him by Phil G. Now Phil G is marginal on fuel. He is dropping back like a stone from Britsburger. He's in danger now of getting lapped by overtaken by Sean. So Phil is going to be cutting it very fine with the fuel he's got. So if we're looking at 120 something a lap, what is it? I mean, he crosses the line now with 1 minute 26 to go. It's going to be very close for Phil G. He could potentially drop a couple of positions here in the Honda, but it isn't worth him pitting. It's just not worth him pitting. He needs to knock that car into a low engine mode and just cruise around for the last lap or so, potentially just try and defend like hell against Sean, who's going to be trying to get that McLaren past the Honda. We could be set for a bit of a grandstand finish. Meanwhile, Rob Scott and Duco's fight has settled down a little bit. Duco's tyre wear has dragged him into the clutches of Sonic Racer though. And now if Sonic Racer gets past, that will blow the title wide open, because that will just take points off Duco. Coming into the final round at Catalunya. Phil G's NSX. Yeah, he's on fume. He should get round. Looking at the times they're saying, he should get round to set another lap. You can hear he's barely revving this car out. Look at the pace that McLaren's got him. The McLaren's going for the move through the final corner. He's got that move made. Phil G is just going to coast this. It's going to try. Yeah, Phil G's just hung on for a P3. Rob Scott's going to get him in the end though. Rob Scott finishes third. Phil G finishes fourth. Just ahead of Duco. Duco did hold on against Sonic Racer. Sorry, that was quite interesting. I missed a few other people. Then we've got Cutler. He's going to come around to finish in 7th position. Carrying a little bit of damage on board that car. Diablo, P8 for Diablo. He's had to do a lot of tyre management in this last phase of the race. Lucky Bucky, P9 for the Mercedes driver. Sideways across the line. Gwyn will take P10 home, just ahead of Moving Island. D4 unfortunately has had to retire from the race as well, so the Chevrolet driver not able to complete this one. But all credit where credit's due to Britsberger. Dominant performance, 23 seconds ahead of any other driver on track. The Aston Martin got out in front early and stayed there, but a drive of the day performance there by Sean. Just managed his stints really well, really consistent pace. Did nab a podium, a P2 in the end for Digital Car Culture. P2 then in the Brands Hatch GP endurance race. What a fantastic result for Sean. He will be chuffed to pieces with that. But Britsberger comes away with ultimate honours. And the Aston Martin team will be dancing in the streets tonight. Appreciate Britsberger whacking my logo on his race suit there. Thank you very much, Squire. What a race we were treated to tonight. That was an absolute blinder, that one. I don't think any of us can be mad at that, can we? D-Dot's not happy. I think he'll just be glad to see the back of this season, to be fair, D-Dot. We'll see him again, he'll be back. Yeah, well done Britsberger. Well done Sean. For me, driver of the day performance by Sean. It's a hard one to pick because there's some really good drives out there. Like Rob, you could argue Rob Scott is another contender. Yeah, you could argue that, but we'll see. For me, I mean, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. Who do you think performed excellently that race? If you're on YouTube, there's a comment section. If you're on Twitch, there's a Twitch chat that you can use as well. And then next week, if you're knocking about and you want to see the final of this, next week is the final round. I believe it's the final. I'm sure it's the final because there's no more events showing on the page. The final round of the Team Oliver Racing GT3 League, and that is coming at you live and direct from Barcelona. If you want to watch some more racing tonight, you can go over to Dark Smoker's YouTube channel. He streamed the Pro League. You can see how the aliens got on at this circuit tonight as well. Same race, same format, just different drivers and a different commentator as well. So you can go and check out what Dark Smoker's got to offer. So don't forget to join me next week for what is bound to be a phenomenal race. Definitely that result will spice up the championship a little bit. Don't forget, coming into it, Duco is leading by 7 points ahead of Rob Scott. Rob Scott got 3rd, Duco got 5th. So that's going to close that gap up. And then Britsberger taking the win. He was in 3rd. So that's going to bring him into play as well. So it's a 3-horse race now for the title. Anything can happen in the final round. No worries Cutler, no worries Rob Scott, no worries Duco. Cheers mate, weed myself. Yeah man, no worries Britsberger. Right, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching this week. Tune in next week, it's gonna be a good show. And yeah, just thank you for watching and supporting the streams all season. That's it from me. Thank you very much. See you next time round. Bye bye.